Hey, welcome to another video about sewing. If you're new here, my name is Angelica and I've just started sewing last year. So I'm a total beginner. I made a popular video about my makes of last year and I consider myself a true beginner. So I only make like easy stuff, and I basically was inspired by Shein to make this video, and I think that sounds very wrong because I don't want to endorse Shein in any way. Personally, I think Shein is the devil. It's evil and it's bad for the environment. It suppresses, you know, workers. So just wanted to make that clear. I don't like Shein. However, I was just scrolling the internet, like on Facebook, and it showed me an ad of a top. And I thought, hey, that top looked pretty cute, but also it looks like something I could easily make myself. So that just planted a little seed into my brain, and after a while I realized that would be a perfect way to destash my vintage thrifted fabrics. Because why not do it the opposite way? You know, not buy anything from Shein, but make it yourself, be inspired by it. It's not going to be copies, but be inspired by it and then make it vintage, like sustainable thrifted fabrics, thrifted zippers, thread, whatever, and that's what I did. I think buying something from Shein or any other website might give an instant gratification, but there's no better gratification than when you make something yourself. If you watch this video, you probably sew yourself as well, and you know the feeling when you finally finished something and it all comes together and you can wear it and you walk outside and people tell you, oh, what a great dress, and you'll be like, thanks, I made it myself. And then everyone will be like, what? That's amazing. That's so much a better feeling than having to admit that you bought it on Shein, right? It is quite a long video, so in the description I will link everything that I used, like patterns, but also little chapters, so you can easily skip from one part to another. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope it will inspire you to make more and maybe thrift some more as well. I'm a big fan of the thrift store. This is also thrifted, one of my favorite jackets. Of course, my sewing machine thrifted as well. Thrifting things is the way to go. Okay, let's go. Hi, welcome to the first part of this project, and in the first one I'm going to sew a vest. I'm going to remake some Shein things, and the first one is, like I said, a vest, and I really liked this one and a few others that are quite alike, but what they have in common is the fabric. I don't necessarily like the shape because I like my vest to be a bit more rounded, so I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. I'm not going to exactly copy them. I'm going to make them my own, of course. It's so much more fun. But I realized when I saw these that I have the same kind of fabric thrifted like a year ago, half a year ago I guess, which is this. It's not as bright, it's very neutral, but it is exactly that kind of fabric like the one on Shein. I really love the muted colors, it's very beautiful. It has been in my closet for quite a while now, so I'm very excited to use it. It's quite a heavy fabric because it's, you know, supposed to be someone grandma's curtains. Anyway, I think it used to be someone's grandma's curtains, so it's very thick. So the lining needs to be very thin, usually with because I'm going to use my self-made vest as a base, which is this one, which I made last year, and it's still one of my favorite makes, but I hardly wear it because it doesn't really match my clothes. So I'm going to try again, and I am going to use something else for the lining, and I'm going to use this. It's not perfect together, as you might see. The green is a little too bright, but it's the only thing I have that comes anywhere near these colors, and that's also thrifted because that's part of the challenge. and I really don't want to drift and hope to find something similar. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm not going to use any bias binding, I think. Just a simple regular vest with lining. Ta-da! I guess. Okay, so it's finished, and it should have been quite a quick make, but it still took me around 4 hours because lots of things went wrong. And also the thing with sewing is you need to be quite precise and like cut out everything evenly, and those are things that I just don't do. I am not a precise person. So eventually it didn't turn out completely amazing, because I think, honestly, I think people at Shein will make this better than I did. But it is homemade, it was so much fun to make, and I loved seeing it turn out into an actual garment, even though it was supposed to be like an old curtain. Or it used to be an old curtain. And I think it is actually very cute. I wasn't so sure yet, but now I wear it like this, with this blouse, which is like a perfect match. I feel it's very cute, and I'm very happy with it. Hi, it's part 2 of my Shein recreating sewing thingy project. And today it's a Sunday, so you might hear some church bells every now and then. It's a little brighter now, but it's still, I think, a perfect day to sew. A perfect moody grey Sunday. I really wanted to make a wrapped up. I saw something on Shein that I really liked, and I finally purchased a wrapped up pattern. It's a Sally's Hut by Sycamore Road Patterns, I believe they are called. However, the download didn't work. I was a little bummed out because I had no idea what to make next, because I do want to make something simple that I can finish in one day. And then I realized I could make the original top that inspired me to do this project. And to me it feels a little bit like a kimono, but a bit shorter, as a wrap top with some elastics underneath. At first I didn't really want to use the elastics because I think it looks a little cheap, not very classy, but I do think it's very practical. So I think I'm gonna go and try and use it with the elastics. I think I'm just gonna make the top first and see in the end how I'm gonna finish it, either with straps or with the elastics as intended. and I'm gonna use this fabric, which is a little bit of a hippie Indian type fabric. It's a little difficult because it's in a circle, so it's not really a pattern. And for the pattern, I am gonna use as a base, I'm gonna use the free pattern of the Nino jacket. I made a video about that one like many months ago. You can find it somewhere here, I hope. I'm gonna use that as a base for this because it looks very similar with the neckline. I'm gonna use that and make the sleeves a little wider, and of course it has to be shorter, but I'm just gonna use it as a base, and I am very curious how this is gonna turn out because it could go every direction. It could be amazing, it could be horrible, it could be cute but not very functional. I have no clue. Going quite well, but for now I have to do the neckline and I have to stitch in the ditch, as they say it. And if you have seen any of my other videos, you will know that I don't really stitch in the ditch. Stitch in the ditch, stitch in the ditch. Anyway. I really like this blouse. It's very boho, it goes really well with the fabric, and I don't really mind the elastic. It doesn't really look as cheap as I thought it would. I think it was very nice, because otherwise if I had made a red top it would like have a totally different vibe, and now it gets a bit billowy, but I think in a good way, like in a boho kind of way that makes it a bit more funky and funky. Look at me, I'm talking like a boomer or anything, but and I'm pleasantly surprised. It took me around 4 hours to make, even if it's not even time for dinner yet, so I'm very pleased with myself. And I really love the pattern as well, the fabric pattern that is. It's very matched, but as you can see it was like a big circle, so it's really hard to match up. So I just let that go. The back is just one piece. I decided to make one piece instead of cut it in half because of the print, and it's just easier that way. I don't know, I just really like it. Okay, so it's time to make the third piece of this little project. First of all, it has been awful weather this week. I bought myself some sunflowers to hopefully make it a bit brighter. The sun is finally shining right now, but it doesn't really feel like summer. But for today I am going to make a summer piece, and I was inspired by Shein with the several dungarees but shorts that I saw. I thought it would be really cute. They look quite baggy, and I have just decided that I made some dungarees before, and the last time I used a zipper on the side because I have wide hips and a big butt and then a small waist. So that's really hard with dungarees because it can gap quite easily, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the word that I have to use, but gap, no, you know what I mean. And for this one I've decided to try and take the risk and make it a bit wider. So usually I just make my dungarees like this, and this time I'm just gonna make it straight so it can slide over my hips without any problem, and I'll just have to see how big it will be here and if it will be too big. I'm just gonna try that because I don't want to bother with the zipper, and I also think it doesn't look very nice. So yeah. So that's the plan for today, and I'm gonna use this fabric, which I have shown you in a previous video. For now, I'm gonna go and make a pattern, and I think I'm gonna start sewing today as well. And let's just see how it turns out. Yeah, this is not supposed to happen. So that's a little annoying, and I was really bummed out. But what I'm gonna do now is just cut this off and then sew it together and then add it to this side. I hope that makes sense. Today is not my day because it's the same thing again. How? So fed up. Okay, so I finally got these right together. Basically everything went wrong. Every piece I sewed together, I did it wrong, like with every piece, and then sometimes even a second time. And it's been a very frustrated sewing session. And this is also really wide. As always, I make these things always way too high because I'm always so afraid they won't go over my hips. But I think in this case it could be like an easy fix and just, you know. Okay, so what I was afraid about happened. This is cut out way too low, and even though I followed a tutorial and already had a little bit more calculated a bit more space in the crotch, so for some reason this is always my problem area. I think as I have a very big butt, I think that's the problem. So it's not perfect there either, but that's one thing. But this is just way too low, and this as well, because my panties start here, so this is not really wearable at this point. I am going to try and salvage it by using the last scraps of fabric that I have left. I'm going to try and like lengthen it a bit like here, so it looks a bit more like a belt, I guess. And that will make it a bit higher, so this will be a bit higher, and hopefully this as well. This will also be a little tighter. I mean, this can be around here, and then hopefully a little higher. Okay, so I thought it was finished. It wasn't perfect, but you know, it's okay. But then I put on a different shirt, and then I realized that if you look inside this side, you can see my bum. It's just too wide, and this is just too low. So I cut this out too low, and even though I added this piece, I mean, the overall look of these overalls are, for me personally, not a good look. I don't really like them. And I think there's only one solution left, and as I have already tried so many things to make this work, I think I'm going to put in the effort and add a button, or maybe just add a zipper. That would be easier. Okay, so it's finished. Finally, this project took everything of me. It took all my energy. It almost ruined my sojo. I honestly think it did. I don't really feel like sewing anymore. But it's finished. Everything went wrong. I have made dungarees like the longer ones before, and I tried to do it differently this time, and for some reason, and I also only had a small amount of fabric, so I really had to make it work with just the amount of fabric that I had. And for this I think I have like small patches left, and I have used up everything else, so I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay, first of all, this was way too wide. Like I said before, I have a narrow waist and wider hips, so with dungarees it never works out, and I always use a zipper or anything lazy like that. And I tried not to in this project. I just really wanted to make something without a zipper, but it looked like absolute shit. It looked horrible. And so in the end I salvaged it by using a zipper and making this smaller. I also had to add a little strip, I think a distance, so it looks very patchy, which I guess looks like the original on Shein, but different. It's misaligned, some patterns are upside down, sometimes the print isn't upside down, whatever. It's horrible, honestly. But this, I think, does line up, so I'm very pleased with that still. But I had to really make it work with every single scrap of fabric that I had. So I don't have any pockets here, only this one. I had no fabric left, so that's what I had to deal with this. I used a different fabric for the lining. I like to use a lining for this part because it looks so much better and it cleans up so nicely. So it's wearable now. I don't think it looks I don't think it looks great. And the zipper doesn't look amazing either, but I can wear it, so I might just wear it like for painting or doing stuff. You know, like a summer painting overalls, or when I'm making my lino cuts or anything. So I do think it is kind of cute. And even though it doesn't look like how I wanted it to look like, I am proud that I didn't give up. I persevered. I had so many solutions for every problem, and in the end it worked out. Does it look great? No. Can I wear it? Yes. So I guess that's something. So this is the end of the video, and if you've watched everything, first of all, thank you so much. I hope it was anything enjoyable. I have a hard time finding what's interesting and what not. I don't want it to be too repetitive or too boring or too slow, but I don't want it to go very fast either. I feel like my English is of course not native, so I talk a lot slower than I usually do because I'm just processing all the translation. That's not even proper English. I am processing all the translating that I have to do, so it feels really weird seeing myself back on camera, but Apparently I have almost 1,000 subscribers, so that's amazing. So I think I'm doing something right, which is nice. Anyway, I digress. I think this was a very fun challenge and I have so many more ideas, and I really want to destash properly because I only made 3 pieces. But I think that's for another video because this one is already quite long. Let me know if you like another video like this, because I have plenty more ideas and fabrics. So maybe not the Shein part, but you know, just destashing my vintage fabrics, I think could make another great video. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've watched this all, wow, I'm very happy you did, and thanks.